Okay, so get this. We got a request from a listener, and wow, they're clearly a huge youth sports fan.
Oh, yeah. What makes you say that?
Well, they send in not one, but two detailed scorecards and a personal match report.
That's awesome. You can really tell when someone's passionate about seeing young athletes develop their skills and learn about teamwork and all that.
It's really something, right? And get this, these aren't just any matches. We're talking about the Austin Blasters U12 team going up against some really tough competition in the Houston Youth League. The matches, have you heard of it?
Oh, yeah. The matches. That's a big one. A lot of talent comes out of there. What's the story with the Blasters?
Well, that's just it. These games were played on turf wickets. Totally different ball game than what these kids are used to.
Kerf wickets. Yeah, that's a whole other animal. It's like
Yeah.
switching from like switching from a practice court to like a professional arena. You know what I mean?
I can only imagine, like stepping onto Wimbledon for the first time.
Exactly. Church wickets, they tend to be faster, the ball bounces differently, and it demands a higher level of skill and adaptation, even for experienced players.
Wow. So these blasters were definitely put to the test.
No kidding. So what happened? Did they rise to the occasion?
Let's dive into this first match. The Blasters, they're up against Team Donny, blue. Now, full disclosure, I'm no cricket expert, but looking at the scorecard, it looks like the Blasters had a bit of a roller coaster ride with the bat. How about you? What do you see?
Yeah, I see what you mean. Definitely a roller coaster. It looks like they started strong, though. Rajiv's 19 runs right off the bat. That must have given them a real confidence boost.
I bet. Starting strong is so key.
For sure. But then, classic cricket, right? Wickets started to fall, and suddenly the middle order is under immense pressure. It's a crucial moment in any cricket match. The middle order needs to steady the ship.
Right. Gotta build that defendable total. So did they. Did the Blasters manage to recover from those early setbacks?
They did, actually. And it's all thanks to a brilliant partnership, really, between Virat and Nayan.
Oh, yeah. I see their names here. Virat, especially, really racked up some runs.
For sure, Virat. He's clearly a talented young batsman. Played aggressively, smashing 25 runs. But honestly, it's Nayan's innings that I find, I don't know, just really impressive. You see how he carried his bat? Finishing with 26 runs, not out.
Not out. What does that even mean?
So not out means he was there on the pitch until the very end of the Blasters innings. Even after all the other batsmen were dismissed, he was still there.
Wow. He was like their anchor then, the steady hand guiding them through a storm.
Exactly. Nayan showed some remarkable composure and resilience, especially for a player his age. And that's huge, not just in cricket, but in life.
Mm,
The ability to just stay calm and focused under pressure. That's gold.
absolutely. Now, what about Team Donny? They didn't just roll over, did they?
No way. They came to play. In fact, the match report mentions that their bowlers were keeping it tight, really forcing the Blasters to work for every run.
Keeping it tight. What does that even mean? Sounds like something you'd hear in a financial planning meeting.
Right. It's all about being disciplined, being strategic. Imagine this. Instead of bowling, those loose balls that are easy to hit?
Yeah.
Team Dhoni's bowlers were focusing on accuracy, landing the ball in areas that made it difficult for the Blasters to score freely, just applying that pressure.
Wow, so they had to take risks.
Exactly. And it's a tactic that, well, it clearly paid off, right? I mean, it's fascinating to see this level of tactical awareness in such young players.
It really is. So we've got the Blasters recovering from those early setbacks to post a respectable total, thanks in part to Nayan's composure. And then Team Donny shows real tactical awareness in their bowling, making the Blasters work for every single run. This is shaping up to be a great match.
So we left off at the Austin Blasters. They set a respectable target, not insurmountable, but definitely something for Team Dhoni to chase. What happened next? Did they manage to get those runs? Oh, they definitely gave it a good go. That same fighting spirit we saw from the Blasters. Well, Team Dhoni had it too. Neil Bansal, he gave them a fantastic start. Those 12 runs he got really put the pressure right back on the Blasters' bowlers.
Cricket really is a back and forth battle, huh?
Absolutely. Every run, every wicket, it's like a move and counter move. Just like chess, but with a lot more running around.
That's a great way to put it. So how did the Blasters respond? Neil seemed like he was on fire.
It's here that we see their bowling really shine. The match report, it specifically calls out Tessie and Anch for their, get this, economical bowling. Economical. Okay, you gotta ask, what does that even mean? You were talking about saving fuel here.
I know, right? But it's actually a huge compliment in cricket. Think about it like this. Every run that a bowler gives up, well, that's a step closer to the target for the other team.
Makes sense. Every run counts.
Exactly, and that's what economical means, making every run really, really hard to get. Tessie and Ange, they were so disciplined, bowling accurately, forcing those Team Donny batsmen to really work for every single run. So it's not just about getting wickets, but also about controlling the flow of the game, right?
Exactly. It's like they always say, defense wins championships. Or in this case, maybe just a very important youth cricket match.
Well said. So Team Donny had a strong start with Neil's batting. Did anyone else step up for them?
While Neil got them off to a great start, it seems the rest of the lineup really struggled with that pressure the Blasters bowlers were creating. And that's the thing about cricket that's so interesting. Those partnerships, they're everything.
Partnerships, like Batman and Robin.
Exactly. In a solid partnership, it can completely shift the momentum of the game. It builds confidence. And in this case, it's what Team Donny needed, but they just couldn't quite make it happen.
It's like one of those movies where the hero keeps fighting even after their sidekick gets taken out. They just can't quite
Yeah,
recover.
perfect analogy. So we've got this real nail-biter on our hands, but before we dive into the second match, let's talk about one player from the Blasters whose performance really stood out to me. We've got to talk about Hiran.
Oh yeah, Hiran's bowling, multiple wickets, and wow, that economy rate is impressive, especially for someone his age.
It's incredible, right? This kid's got a bright future. Those kinds of stats, that's not just luck, that's skill and composure.
Absolutely. Speaking of composure, I'm dying to hear what happened in the second match. It sounds like things got even more intense.
Oh, they did. And remember how we talked about turf wickets being a whole different ball game? Well, in this match, those challenges really came to the fore for the Blasters. Runouts plagued their innings, and they found themselves in a very tough spot. 5 wickets down with only 34 runs on the board. Talk about pressure.
5 down, yikes. I'm not even a cricket expert, and I know that's not good. What did they do?
Well, it would have been easy to crumble, right? 5 down so early, that can really demoralize a team, especially a young one. It's true, 5 down early can really get in a young team's head. But here's where, well, this is where the mental side of the game is just as important as the physical stuff.
It's like they say, it's all in your head. Okay, maybe not all, but you get the point. So how did the Blasters respond? Did they let the pressure get to them? Or did they, dig deep and fight back?
Well, what's really inspiring about this match is that even though they were 5 down, the Blasters, they didn't give up. They kept fighting. And Virat, remember how he really delivered in the first match?
That definitely a star player.
Well, he stepped up again big time, showed incredible resilience. You could see it in his game. He ended up scoring a crucial 30 runs, really held the innings together when it seemed like everything was falling apart.
That's what you call a leader, right? Stepping up when the team needs it most.
Absolutely.
Even with Virat's heroics, 34 for 5 is rough. Did anyone else contribute?
Virat's innings, it was the backbone of their total, no doubt. But he didn't do it completely alone. Rajiv and Siddhartha, they also made some really valuable contributions. Just shows their grit, Push that score past 70.
I'm seeing 74 on the scorecard, which, granted, doesn't sound enormous, but hey, it's a start. Did that give the Blasters bowlers something to work with?
It did. You're right. On a good batting pitch, 74 might not be huge, but it definitely gave those bowlers something to fight for.
Okay, so Team Kohli, they're probably feeling pretty good going into their innings, right? Small target to chase.
They definitely would have fancied their chances. And their bowling, it really reflected that confidence. They came out strategic, disciplined, clearly had thought about the Blasters' batting and how to counter it.
Ooh, I love that they actually learned from their opponents.
Yes.
Adapting their strategy. That's next level cricket intelligence.
Isn't it? It's awesome to see, especially in such young players. And what's really interesting is, well, they clearly recognize that the Blasters batsmen struggled against spin bowling on that turf wicket.
Interesting.
Oh.
So did they exploit that weakness?
Absolutely. They brought on their spinners early, and it totally paid off. Ayush Singh especially, he was just incredible. Took 2 crucial wickets and really put the Blasters on the back foot.
So Team Kohli, they did their homework and came out swinging. It's like we're seeing a theme here. These young athletes, they're not just playing, they're thinking about the game at such a high level. But even with a modest target and, some great bowling, a win wasn't a sure thing for Team Kohli, was it? I mean, The Blasters had already shown what they could do, even with a low total.
Exactly. And that's what makes this match so compelling, right? Those Blasters bowlers. They were determined to make Team Coley fight for every run.
I'm seeing on the scorecard, Team Coley's innings, it wasn't a smooth ride for them either. There were definitely ups and downs. It wasn't like they just cruised to victory.
Not at all. It was a real battle. Ridhey, for example, he was fantastic for the Blasters, bowling so tightly, not giving anything away easily. And Tessie, she took another 2 wickets. It was like they could sense the urgency, Really brought their A game.
Sounds like those early runouts and that low score, it lit a fire under them. They were playing like they had something to prove. But you did say this match was a nail-biter, so Team Coley must have pulled ahead somehow, right?
They did. But not without some serious drama. Remember those two, Karthik and Avik from Team Coley?
Let me check the scorecard. Yeah, I see them. So what happened?
Well, they came together at a really crucial point, 5 wickets down. Chasing a small but, not insignificant total.
Talk about pressure. 5 down, that's like looking in a mirror for the Blasters, right? Deja vu.
Exactly. But here's the thing. Karthik and Avik, they held their nerve. They built a partnership, played really smart, rotating the strike, not taking any unnecessary risks. It seemed like they might just pull it off,
Yeah.
Just cruise to victory after all.
So agonizing. So close for the Blasters, but I bet they didn't just give up, did they?
Never. They kept fighting for every single run, every single wicket. The tension must have been off the charts. Every ball, it was like a battle of its own. You could feel the pressure, even just watching from the sidelines.
That's what's so amazing about sports, isn't it? You never know what's going to happen. It's anyone's game until that last ball is bowled, but eventually someone has to win. How did Team Coley finally secure their victory?
Well, it really came down to one player, Ayush Singh. Remember how he really put the clamps on the Blasters batting earlier?
Yeah, he was phenomenal. Those 2 wickets early on were huge.
Right. Well, he stepped up again. This time with the bat.
No way! Talk about a high-pressure situation. Their top scorer's out, they still need runs, and it all comes down to him.
I know, right? And the amazing thing is, he didn't crack under pressure. He shows so much maturity, so much game sense, didn't try to do too much, just built a partnership with Zion and got those runs, one by one.
It's amazing those moments in sports where you see someone just rise to the occasion. What a story for Ayush. But, even in their loss, it sounds like the Blasters gave them a run for their money.
Oh, absolutely. This was a great match. It really could have gone either way.
It really makes you wonder, what if things had gone a little differently?
Right. Especially when you look at, there's this one detail in the match report that really stood out to me. It seems the Blasters gave away 40 extras during Team Coley's innings.
40. Wow. Okay, for those of us who aren't cricket aficionados, what exactly does that mean?
So extras, those are the runs a team gets that aren't directly from the bat. Think of it like getting free points.
Okay, I'm starting to see the problem.
Right. Things like wides, no balls, those all add up. They seem insignificant in the moment, but 40 runs, that can be huge. And in this match, it's hard not to think that those extras were the difference between winning and losing.
What a tough lesson. It really highlights how every run, every ball, it all matters in the end.
It really does. Both teams played their hearts out. So much talent and passion on display.
Absolutely. And what I really love is that even though these are, youth sports, we're seeing that same level of excitement, that same level of skill and determination that you see in the professional leagues. It's inspiring.
Absolutely. These matches, they were a masterclass in teamwork, in determination, and sportsmanship. And at the end of the day, that's what youth sports are all about. Right?
You got it. It's about so much more than just the final score. And with that, we want to thank our amazing listener for sharing these matches with us. What a journey. We've gone from scorecards to a deep dive on talent, resilience, and the thrill of cricket.
I had a blast. It's so important to remember that cricket, it's not just a leisurely stroll in the park. It's a sport that demands real physical and mental agility.
Well said. And to all our listeners, no matter what your arena is, whether it's the cricket pitch or the boardroom, remember, teamwork, resilience, strategic thinking, those qualities, they can make all the difference. Until next time, keep exploring and keep diving deep.